Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast, brought to you by the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney. I'm joined by Capone. Ty, UFC Noche, or I'm sorry, UFC Noche.
UFC.
Yeah, Noche UFC. My bad. I, completely lost on this whole thing. But we got 11 fights to talk about. We have a big time discussion to have about this main event. But how are you feeling overall? And it sounded like we talked a little bit before, but you enjoyed the show.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I like how they did. They had a mariachi band outside of the T-Mobile Arena. The Mexican fans were, turning up. They were pretty. I wasn't sure how they were going to come out. I don't know why. I think a lot of things that people don't realize, and obviously something I didn't realize, is how intense Mexican MMA and boxing fans are. No matter what, like even if it's not Canelo, they pack the house. They get loud. They turn up. They did really well. They showed out, even though Valentina, went on like an anti-Mexican crusade, and then doubled down in the post-fight press conference. That was interesting. And then, they really ride for their Mexican fighters and nobody else. Kyle Nelson winning the fight and being, "My wife's pregnant." Yeah, and everyone's like, "Boo!"
Who gives a shit?
Fuck her. That was fun. But yeah, I thought it was overall, they mixed up the graphics and I guess the choreography of the entire, card, playing, I don't know what the instrument is, but playing some Mexican music during the tail of the tape. The one thing that didn't really, they tried and it didn't work, but they tried bringing Brandon Moreno to the desk to join the other three. And that was a disaster, but, it was cool. It was also really cool seeing, who was it? Ponzinibbio doing the Spanish commentary. He's awesome. Him and the other guy, I forget the other guy's name. Fuck. But all in all, like, I thought it was a pretty good night. I thought Dominic Cruz and DC together, like, they weren't bad. Dominic Cruz, he really had a lot to say about Chris Tognoni. That was funny. Also very, very fair.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a pretty good night. I mean, it wasn't the best card, it wasn't the best fights, but it was a fight night. So
and you got a title fight.
And you got a title fight. It was a really good title fight. Obviously, it's gonna be marred by the scorecards, but all in all, it was a good fight. And I don't know. I thought Grasso won, but it was so close. I just went back and rewatched the fourth round, which I think was the deciding round of the entire fight.
It should have been.
But I think only one judge gave it to Grasso. I think it was my boy Junichiro.
Yes.
That's my guy, man. Mike Bell, Sal D'Amato, not my guys. Nope.
Well, why don't we just get right into it, right?
Jump on in.
5 rounds, 25 minutes. Like you said, what we're going to say about the decision, it does suck that the decision is the judges and all that stuff, because it's something about a draw just really pisses you off, especially when there's not points being taken away. It's a judge basically taking the fight into his own hands and going, the 10-8 in the 5th round, which I just want to say off the rip is absolutely insanity. That's nuts. For you to, like, if we're giving 10-8s out like that, then there needs to be multiple 10-8s. I mean, you could argue that Valentina's round, what was that, the second round? 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have been way more worthy of a 10-8 than anything that, I mean, Alexa Grasso did, the crowd got all juiced up and the crowd did get behind her and she landed some good shots and she was threatening that choke, but so was Valentina in that second round. It's just insane to me because we've seen plenty of fights where dudes got the shit beat out of them and there wasn't 10.
I'm sorry, it was the third because Grasso won the second.
Right. Okay, because it was 1, 2, 3, and then 4 was the questionable one. I agree.
I mean, the media scores were fucking split, like 48-47 Grasso across the board, and then 48-47 Shevchenko across the board. Jed Mishu for MMA Fighting, who I follow, and I think he knows what he's talking about, had it 47-46 Grasso. So he actually did give 2 10-8s. That's something. I feel like you have to give a 10-8. I want to look up the exact, the Athletic Commission's,
criteria for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems everything in mixed martial arts, it's all just kind of up to the seer, like it's kind of left to be interpreted by all of these different judges, and we get different scorecards for different fights every single night, and you just have no idea. It truly sucks, but that is the one thing about the sport that sucks, is especially betting it. You have no idea what they're going to say when they go to the cards. Like, even if you're like, wow, like you said, like that, I could see that fight going either way, but there are some fights where we're like, oh yeah, that guy probably won, like it should be unanimous, and you see, the judge say the one name, and you're like, oh my god, you're like, oh, are we gonna get fucked here? Like, this is about to be a split decision.
I had the Kevin Holland fight was not a split decision. I had Kevin Holland money line. I was like, man, if I could just get one bad decision to go my way, that would be great. And then as soon as I heard Mike Bell and Sal D'Amato back to back, I was like, fuck, whatever it is, I'm not getting, because they know what I have, and they go with the opposite. Anyway, so a 10-8 round is where one fighter wins the round by a large margin. A score of 10-8 does not require a fighter to dominate their opponent for 5 minutes. It's utilized by the judge when the judge sees verifiable actions on the part of either fighter. Okay,
so you can do whatever they want.
Basically, you have to dominate, and this is a whole paragraph, but like the Josephine Knudsen Mark Man fight, sure, there was 3 10-8s, and even I went back and watched that, and I was like, man, this fight wasn't really close to being stopped. But Mark Man had like 8 strikes landed in 15 minutes, got absolutely just destroyed. So I think Mike Bell gave 3 10-8s in that fight, which honestly I don't really hate. Like, maybe they should just cut that chick now, because she got 10-8 3 times and shouldn't be in the UFC anyway. So, I think, seeing more 10-8 scores, it's not the worst thing in the world, but you got to really put it in the right spot. And I don't understand how that 5th round was a 10-8. And, if it was a 10-9 like it was supposed to be, Valentina would have her belt back. So I'm glad. But also, like, what do you think Valentina needs to do more? Because it seems like she can't do it. She definitely improved in this fight. She started throwing her jab more. For the most part, until the last round, she wasn't doing any stupid shit to get her, caught. But then she got herself caught. She pretty much, I guess you could argue, she blew both fights. She was up both fights, and she fucking choked. And also, if you remember, I forget which Amanda fight, I think it was the second one, she did something similar in that fight also, got herself in a precarious situation by doing something so dumb. Especially in this fight, like, if you're going for a spinning back kick or a spinning back fist, that's one thing. But to go for a head and arm throw, like,
with that like a minute 30 left in the fight, like it was like she had her gripped up, and she she did not need to do that. She could have just held her there for a second, or just used it to transition to another takedown or something like that. Like, I was like so pissed off when she did that, because I'm just a fan of hers in general, and I had her go to decision. So then she gets taken down. It seems like she made, like you said, it's perfect, and it's the way to explain both of these fights. She makes a mistake, and a crucial mistake, and she made multiple in this fight. It seemed like in the third, she gets like reversed at some point later in one of the rounds. I don't remember exactly what round, but especially in this 5th round, like it seemed like she always goes right to giving the backup immediately, and like she's always getting put in these dangerous positions. Like, she has so much confidence that she's going to get out. She did almost get finished in that 5th round, but she didn't, and she didn't take an extreme amount of damage. That's the only thing that really bothers me about the 10-8, because there's plenty of times where these fights go to decisions, and it could go either way. But it just seems like when you're able to pinpoint one thing, and you're like, dude, like, if all 3 judges had given Grasso the 4th round, I would have been like, not that like confused by it, because she had the big, somewhat bigger moments landing those knees, even though I think the knees were just kind of, I don't know if they were really landing hard. You would imagine that Shevchenko would have gotten hurt. This was just a weird fight, man. This was it just, you really don't know who deserve to win. I don't know if either one of them really deserve to win, so maybe a draw is perfect.
Yeah, I don't know if a draw is like the worst outcome. No. It's just how we got to the draw.
Exactly. I would agree with that 100%.
I thought it was a really close fight. I mean, the first round was Val. I mean, she was pumping the jab out. She got the takedown, had a couple of minutes of not too much control. And man, she really had the second round too. She had 3 minutes of control, and then she got dropped. And then I think Grasso took her back, right?
I believe something along those lines.
Something like that. And then round 3, she pretty much controlled most of the time. I mean, nothing really happened in the third round, but she controlled it. Fourth round was so fucking close, man. 20-19 Grasso, significant strikes, 38-31 total strikes. They both got a takedown. They both had a little bit of control. I thought, when Grasso started hitting her with those knees, which I guess were not illegal. I thought like at the time that they were, but I guess you can't drag your hand, or you have to have both hands on the ground, or the Vegas rules are different. I don't know, but
every ref would call that different. By the way,
Herb Dean would not call it all. So
no,
good thing he was there. And then the fourth round was very close. I think Valentina was landing some really, really good stiff jabs, and then she opened her up with a cut with an elbow at the very end of the round. So maybe I'm surprised that I guess maybe that did factor into some judges, or two of the judges, giving her the fourth. But I still thought Alexa edged out. My question is, what do you do next? Because do you really want to just run it, go back to back to back? Because I just don't think that's something they want to do. It's something they don't usually do.
Yeah.
Valentina is talking about, let's do the trilogy in Kyrgyzstan. I'm like, I don't know if there's really much a thirst for the UFC to go to Kyrgyzstan. Surprisingly, I heard it's actually a very safe country.
Oh, I'm sure. But are they going to sell out an arena for her? Yeah. I don't know. If they were, then I think they would have already gone there by now.
Yeah, I don't know how many Kyrgyzstanis there are besides her and her sister, but that's probably not going to happen. I'm sorry. Maybe if anything, they're going to go to Mexico City because that's where they wanted to go for this card. And also, you're not the champ anymore. I'm sorry. You're not the champ. You can't call the shots. I'm sorry. I used to love Valentina. Not that I don't anymore. I just, I think it's a changing of the guard. Honestly, I think Grasso leveled up a little bit. She got her takedown defense. It's getting better slowly. I think this fight she was predominantly out of southpaw, which worked a lot. She wasn't throwing her straight left as much, but I feel like there's a big difference in strength between these women when they grip each other up. Right, Valentina is much stronger, but she doesn't hit hard, or as hard, I should say, than Grasso. Grasso has much more punching power, and I guess it doesn't always go hand in hand with strength and punching power. Grasso's kind of skinny; she doesn't look that strong. It's not like Macy Barber, where she is a strong girl and also hits hard, similar to Mackenzie Dern. But I just like Grasso's movement, her shelling, her defense, her ability to use her boxing defensively. I think that's something we noticed also. Kyle Nelson did a really good job of Jack Della Maddalena also boxing well and getting out of range, staying in the perfect spot, not getting punched, not taking shots flush, kind of getting glancing blows and keeping her hands up, utilizing I guess the Philly shell is starting to really catch on in MMA. I know they're a little bit behind boxing, but that's something I noticed Grasso was doing. Valentina was hitting her with some jabs, but other than that, she wasn't really catching her with any big shots. She wasn't utilizing any kicks. Valentina was pretty much just headhunting the whole fight. It was a really, really close contested fight. And either way, I can't really argue against either of them winning, but neither won. So also, how about DC telling her, actually, you didn't win after Grasso was like, I won. And he's like, no, you didn't.
He needed to say it though, because she was acting like she was like, people would have been confused. He's like, no, hold on, they just read that thing out to me. You did not win. You didn't lose, but you didn't win. So, ironically
enough, I do think she did win in the fact that she kept her belt and she also kind of kept her star power and fame, but she did not win.
It felt like some WWE shit. Like the guy who got not in the same, but getting hit by a chair or a count out happened, and it's just the champ keeps the title. You're like, what the fuck, man?
Triple H brings everybody to the ring, and then the fight ends, the match ends, and you're like, oh, great, this again. But I think Erin Blanchfield and Alexa Grasso would be a nasty match. I think that would be just a backyard brawl. I think it would be just a grind fest. Not in that way, but I think her wrestling, I don't know if it's necessarily better than Valentina's. I think Valentina's a better wrestler, blast double, and actually getting her down to the ground. She shoots, grabs, takes you down. Blanchfield's a little bit more methodical, a little bit slower paced, but I think she'd have some real problems, Alexa would, with Erin Blanchfield on top of her. I think she would I will say Alexa Grasso is now better off her back. I think the first thing was to improve the takedown defense, and now it looks like the emphasis is working your way up. Not necessarily rolling to give up your back, but just finding different ways to get up, or at least to stay in guard. Because Valentina honestly didn't really do much on top at all in this fight. No. She wasn't landing much ground and pound at all, really. I mean, I think she had her back, right, a rear naked choke for a little bit, but nothing really else. She wasn't really threatening from the top, and I think that honestly, helped cost her this fight. And I know she's mad at the judges for I guess favoring the Mexican fighter, even though I kind of think that's a little bit ridiculous. But
I think that does happen, though. For the record. I don't think that happened in this fight, but I think that I can't be a hypocrite because I was talking about the French card, and it seemed like they were just going. Some of those fights were like questionable. They were going unanimous decision for the French fighter. He won all 3 rounds. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Like, what are we watching here? I mean, that didn't happen here, though. That just seems like she's just using a bunch of different excuses. Yeah, I would be pissed, too, if I were her. But you have one judge to be mad at. I don't think that has anything to do with them wanting the Mexican fighter to win here. It just is the fact that Mike Bell doesn't really know and Sal D'Amato don't really know what they're doing. So, or the sports pass them by. I can't figure it out, but it just... I don't get it. I don't understand. I come on here and yell about this every week. I don't really get what the judges are looking at or what's going to happen in some of these fights. Anything can happen, and it did. But I don't think, like you said, though, it's a perfect way to explain it. The way we got there, don't exactly agree with it, but at the end, it kind of nobody really did deserve to win this fight. It was really close, really, really close. Yeah.
So I mean, I like this division a lot. I think it's the best women's division by far. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I did just want to say, because I totally forgot to say this, what I would do is I would run Valentina and Alexa again as soon as possible, and I'd have Mannion and Aaron Blanchfield fight on a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I'd have those two fight on like a low, like not like a big-time pay-per-view, but like on the main card, and it's like, oh my God, like these chicks, whoever wins that fight should be fighting for the title next. And
another fight in that division I like. You can
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I interrupted you. Keep going.
No, but I was just gonna say Aaron I think I can confidently pick Aaron Blanchfield against Alexa Grasso. I just think that it will be the difficulty will be getting her down, but once she does, she's not like Shevchenko. She does not just sit there and hold you down. She moves quickly and she lowers some serious damage. And absolutely. I think she would take advantage of a position if she was given it. I think at some point she will be given it. Valentina, I mean, I imagine maybe the same, but I could see that striking in that distance being a problem. So you know what though? There's really no way they can go wrong here. Either way, I think one of those 4 is fighting each other. I think if you go right with Aaron Blanchfield and Alexa Grasso, I think Shevchenko and Mannion Ferro have to fight. There would be
Let's do a Grand Prix. Why not?
Yeah, literally, and that's exactly what it would be. They just wouldn't put a name on it. So
yeah. Also, I would like to see Macy Barber, Tracy Cortez. That would be a banger in my opinion. Yeah. Natalia Silva and Macy Barber, Natalia Silva and Amanda Hebos, or Karini Silva and Amanda Hebos. I like this division a lot. I think you're starting to see, not yet with Valentina, but Chukagian, Andrade, Murphy, Jennifer Maia, they're starting to fall down. You're getting the Karini Silva, Natalia Silva, Tracy Cortez with a big, big win. I know it wasn't the prettiest, but she really gutted that one out, especially in the third. Natalia Silva, Viviane Araujo. She's not young, but she's still a hammer. And now Valentina, I think she's 35, right? She's not getting any younger. I think I saw the stat, like we saw the one was men's fighters in title fights from whatever division at the age 35. They're 2-24, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
For women, 35 and over, I think they are 1-11 and now 1. So not much success happens at 35, man. It just father time, and I don't know if we never necessarily saw Valentina's skills erode, but I think we're going to slowly. I mean, her fight IQ it's so funny. Her fight IQ is so high, but also at certain times she just has these lapses.
Yep.
And I think her punching power is definitely she's been passed by. I mean, the younger generation of women are here. I mean, I think Macy Barber probably punches harder than Valentina, and that's not to say she would beat her, but it's not getting any easier for Valentina. I'll definitely say that.
And Valentina is the most technically sound of them all. She's still quick. She could still hang with any of them. It's just more that I guess the field, the gap has been closed, and now everyone's right there with her.
She's going through like a Petr Yan part of their career. It's weird. Like they're losing these close fights and shitty luck. Yeah, just a bad luck, and sometimes you can't rebound from that. So
we'll see. Yeah, we will see. I guess this was kind of a talking point or a conversation after Jack Della Maddalena split decision over Kevin Holland. I thought we kind of discussed this before. I don't know if we actually talked about this yet, but JDM, this seemed like an easier 29-28 decision when I was just sitting there watching it. I was just like, I had Holland inside the distance. That really never got that close. I think Holland did good early on in the fight, but Jack Della seemed to come on later on in the fight, and it was just landing at will in that third round. He had kind of figured out the whole distance thing, and I guess I kind of, this was the perfect fight for Jack Della, it seems. But I could have seen it going either way. I probably would have said robbery, though, if Kevin Holland would have won, but maybe
absolutely,
good.
I don't even know if Kevin Holland won any of the rounds. I was very disappointed by his performance. I'm not going to lie. I see the output, the numbers, and I'm like, oh, man, this wasn't a boring fight. But, when I watched it, I was not entertained. I thought it was going to be an all-action war. It was okay in the first round, and even the second, but then definitely started to slow down midway through the second. Kevin Holland didn't really even go for grappling at all. A couple half-assed takedown attempts that didn't work. The only time he was having success with anything was like those teeps up the middle. Those front kicks up the middle, they weren't really doing much, but they were landing. He just couldn't find a way around Jack Della's guard, and easier said than done, right? But you have such an advantage with your length and height and reach and speed and experience, and you just couldn't figure out a puzzle. Again, it's just a constant part of his career. He just can't figure it out. He can't break through. He also during the third round, I think he's talking to Jack Della and asking him to train with him. And it's like, bro, I understand he wants to take the path of like a Donald Cowboy Cerrone, where you're the entertaining fighter, you're the fan favorite, you're getting a bunch of bonuses, you take fights whenever, multiple weight classes. But I don't, and who am I to tell him how to live his life and how to live his career? But I just don't know if that's the most the best way for him to live out his fighting career, like being a 13-10 guy in UFC rather than being like a 9-2 or 9-3 fighter. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he doesn't care about the belt. He's never really going to get close to the belt. But I thought this fight wasn't good. I thought his performance wasn't good.
Especially after the Chiesa choke. Yeah. Like, that was like, we were riding a high there. And I think what you're saying more comes from the fact that you have more, like, you believe in this guy's abilities. Like, you expect more from him than just being like an exciting, fun guy. He is a guy who could challenge, like you say, if he was like kind of smarter about this and not take these fights on short notice. And I'm sure he's being paid very well, but and like you said, like sometimes in this fight, he just leaves stuff out there to, where he could have maybe stole around there and won himself a split decision, but it's just lack of output and maybe the weight class or the thing is kind of eating away at him, or just like you said, a short notice. He's not really ready to fight the way. I don't know. It just there's something
to be said, I think, about just fighting so much. You're taking so many fights that eventually you're just going to wear down. Or you're going to have a bad day because you're so You don't even realize, but 3 fights in 5 months, man. I don't know if that's necessarily the best recipe for success. He went 2-1, and the one loss is really going to, not be a big setback because it's JDM, but the loss to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
I think that's what the big problem is here. We're like he could have won, but he didn't. Like, I don't know.
He's 30, so he's not old. He still has some of the same weaknesses that he's always had. So he's 12-7-1 in the UFC, and I don't know where he goes from here, honestly. But
I saw him call out Neil Magny afterwards. If anybody really cares about that, I'd like to see him fight Ian Machado Gary. I don't know if that would really do much for Ian Machado Gary though, because he would probably beat him. I would imagine. I have trouble picking Kevin Holland now. I'm gonna have to say it. He's gonna probably burn me for some money the next time out.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for him to No more betting on Kevin Holland.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to stay away because that's just he's one. It seems like one of those. There's a reason he's lost 10 times, and he's fought a lot of high level competition, but also he gives some things away.
Lost them.
He's lost. Like, and it seemed like he was right there for the taking on this fight. If you, especially like you had money line, I was already that inside the distance was a bad bet. It's just I thought he would finish. I was expecting him to come out on fire and just kind of try to take him out, but I mean he did have a good first round. So somebody who came out on fire. Raul Rosas Jr. And then I don't know what he was saying after the fight, but I mean, this is just he clipped him, and probably 30 seconds into the fight, just ended up on top, and this man was not looking for that sub at all. I wish we had TKO inside the first round. This fight ends inside the first minute, I'm sorry. Terrence Mitchell stinks, though, but Raul Rosas had no intention. Raul Rosas got clipped at some point during this fight. Looked like he got, not like rocked, but like a solid shot landed on that man's chin. Saw his head snap back, but he had every intention on TKOing this motherfucker, and he did.
Yeah, it was definitely good to see, mixing it up, getting a guy out of there that you should get out of there, but he's still as green as can be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just too much chaos, too much, just very wild, even from the top. He's just throwing force and just swinging his body. Anybody else can kind of buck him off if he's going to fight that crazy. But it worked this fight. So definitely baby steps. He's 18. Like, I mean, where is he going to be a year from now? Maybe he might be the same kind of fighter. We'll see. But definitely an improvement. And they're gonna baby him. And I hope people aren't like, overzealous and want to see him get in there with, Rob Font or something. Like,
no.
Let's keep getting the Terrence Mitchells of the world.
Yeah.
Somebody that maybe wants, hey, maybe they can clip you. Maybe, Terrence Mitchell's a big, tall, long, awkward guy. I'm sure he has power, but he's just not good at all. He might be one of the worst fighters in the UFC currently. But, just different kind of styles, throw guys and, see how Rosas adjusts. But yeah, pretty good win. At least, hey, you got a TKO, right?
Yeah, you can't say much. You can't say much negative about it. It's just, it's gonna be. You're gonna be a couple more, like you said, a couple more of these before we start getting to the big time. The kid's still 18 years old, and he just came off a loss, so it's big for him to bounce back like that and just take that man out. How about Daniel Zellhuber? Needed this finish here. I think I had this on the card. No, I did not. I had TKO, I believe, but. Is that correct? I'm trying to make sure I get the information correct. He was landing shots, but I had Zellhuber TKO, so that is brutal. That is brutal. But
yeah, and he almost got TKO'd. He didn't get knocked down, right? He just got hurt?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, not great. Not great to see that, but what was great to see him do was finish that fight with that nasty anaconda choke. I mean, he got that quick. And Yago's tried, but he could not get out of that. So it's obvious that Zellhuber's making improvements over there at Extreme Couture. He's only 24, but yeah, definitely, I think once he got once he started backing Yago's up against the cage and kind of cutting off, where Yago's can go, then he started to work on his striking, that was pretty much, he got rolling. But the first round was not great, but again, rebounding from that, fighting through adversity. I do think he might be a bit chinny. He looks like he might have some chinniness to him, but he's tough, man. Mexican warrior, I'm sure, has that fighting spirit. And that anaconda was like, I didn't even think, I was like, oh man, he jumped on it quick. Yago's going to be able to get out of this, but he was trapped. That was fucking crazy. So yeah, shout out to Zellhuber. That was a nice win against a veteran, not the best fighter at 155, but a guy that has like 30 pro fights that can really, mix it up, different styles. He stuffed every takedown Zellhuber did. So yeah, definitely some progress for him and Rosas, the young Mexican fighters. I mean, the Mexican fighters in general had a pretty good night. I don't know who's the only one that didn't have a good night. I guess Charez, because he got a win taken from him. And
you could argue Alex Reyes because he brought out the Mexican flag.
That didn't end well.
We'll get to that, but. Yeah, no, listen, I think it was big. I kind of talked about this before the fight, but I think it was big for Zellhuber to get a finish. I think he needed a sort of bounce-back statement. He's had a lot of decisions since he's been in the UFC, and like we talked about, that Trey Ogden loss was not good, especially, for that to be your first loss, and it just seemed like he didn't really bring it that night. Like, it just kind of seemed like he was okay with getting, really didn't even get beat up. He just kind of didn't throw anything in that fight. But it's good to see him kind of, deal with adversity and come back. And, he's well-rounded as well. He's not just a TKO artist. He is a fucking submission threat as well. So his only finish in the UFC is a submission. He's got, 7 TKOs, 3 submissions in his whole career. So how about Kyle Nelson? Taking care of business, like you said. This is another guy we forgot, Mexican gentleman who did not have a great night. Did you agree? Did you agree with the decision, and do you believe that Kyle Nelson is the monster?
I don't know about the 30-27.
Yeah,
but
that was the only one that I had.
Yeah, maybe.
With. But he won the fight.
I mean, I guess I could see it because he just won every round by a slim margin. Maybe I guess I could see that. I mean, the third round was a little sloppy, but I thought that the first and second he definitely. I honestly can't remember which round I gave to Padilla. It might have been the third, but yeah, honestly, dude, he looked really good. I kind of shit on Kyle Nelson before, but I thought his boxing, his risk management, his distance control, I thought all of that looked pretty good. Did he go to the legs, Mud? Yeah, he mixed it up. He went to the body, went to the legs. Padilla just a bit awkward, I guess. I don't really know how to explain his fighting style.
Dumb betting guys I don't know enough about, by the way.
Yeah, and I think this was good. I stayed away. Did we both stay away?
No, I had Padilla inside the distance. But it was more of an anti-Kyle Nelson bet, so I was disappointed when Kyle Nelson looked competent. I knew I was in trouble. Bet
against the monster. That's what happened. But no, I thought he looked pretty good. It was a decent little featherweight scrap. Padilla, I think we I'm not gonna say we know what he is. But he's still young. I think he's younger than both of us. I think so. El Valiente. I mean, he's really, really big and long for that weight class. So maybe there's room to improve. I wish he would just kind of sharpen up his defense. His overall striking in general is a bit kind of a mess sometimes.
And all 5 of his losses are decisions, so it doesn't seem like he's still got a
great minute winner.
He's just kind of a finisher bust. So not completely, but it's tough. He's on the do not bet list for now until I see the next matchup. How about someone else that's definitely on the do not bet list? That would be Elise Reed, but she took a submission rear naked choke loss. Shout out to the St. Pete's Police in the background, by the way.
I just heard. I was like, oh wow, that's just
But Loopy, dude, I had her decision. I think so did you. That was tough. But
that didn't happen.
No,
Herb Dean wanted
did not have it.
Herb Dean also had it.
I did. God damn it. Fuck.
Herb Dean also had it. He's like, fuck, that arm is about to snap. No, we're good. She looks good. She's good. That was crazy.
He was stressing out.
Also, Elise Reed landed 3 strikes, significant strikes this fight. Lupi Godinez had 5 takedowns and 6 submission attempts. So, I mean, just an absolute mauling, really. What else could you say about this? Lupi looked fucking nasty, man. She picked her up, slammed her, fucking tried to rip her arm off, and then got the rear naked choke. She looked good, man. I think it was a good matchup for her. And Elise Reed landed 0 headshots in this fight. So, a half of a fight. So, I mean, not really much more to say. I mean, the women, there were some nasty women fights in this card, man. Grasso, Valentina was great. Lupi was dominating. Knutson early in the card was dominating. The Cortez Jasmine fight was really good. So, good one for Lupi. And we'll see if she can continue to route out her game. I know she's tiny, but there's a lot of small girls at 115. So, you never know.
She's very gritty, though, and she's very good on the ground. So if she's able to get the fight to the ground, not everyone's going to be Elise Reed, but it just seems like I don't know. She's going to be tough for anybody. Eventually she's going to run into the fact that she's too damn small, and people are just going to be able to keep her on the outside and stop the takedowns and stuff. But, against people like Elise Reed or this lower level of competition, she's going to smoke them every time, it seems. So how about Roman Kopylov? Eventually getting that TKO for us against Josh Fremd. Josh Fremd was getting chipped up a little bit here.
His nose is fucking leaking early.
It's just a real bad matchup, to be honest. Yep. And Josh Fremd's not on that level. Yeah, and it's when a guy like him is not able to get a takedown, and Kopylov is very good on the feet, dude. He's very powerful, he's very quick, and he's very sharp with his strikes. He doesn't really waste much motion. That's a tough night out, and I mean, I know Kopylov had that loss to Duraev. Not all that long ago, and Those are him and Carl Roberson are his only 2 losses. He has looked good since then, and he's finished his last 3 fights. So
4.
4. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I didn't see that. Your cousin. I forgot about that one. But
he's the cop.
Mr.
He's on a heater, man. It's really just about, he was always low volume, and that always really bothered me because I was like, man, he has some pop in his punches, throws hard, quick. It just seems like he's wasting such a talent that he has, but not anymore, man. Now he's starting to really pick it up. Strikes landed per minute is close to 5 now, and before I think it was in the 3s. So, very, very. I mean, you love to see it. And Josh Fremd's just, he's a tough motherfucker. That's for sure. He's also. I would like to see if he can make it to 205 because he's a big dude. But I don't know. His last 2 fights now, the big. Had to retire that nickname. I wonder if he was watching that Steelers game last night.
Shout out.
But yeah, I mean, after that Dumas win, I mean, what is he now? I guess he beat Dumas and Pickett, but he's 2-3 in the UFC. I can't believe he's had 5 fights already. Yeah, I don't know what's next, right? Definitely got to take a little step back, maybe. Roman Kopylov is just a hammer. Now we got to see Roman Kopylov get a nice little step up. I don't think is this middleweight, right? I don't think he's ranked, but middleweight's kind of deep. It's not stacked, especially the top, but I do love their 7 to 15 range of fighters. I think he can break in there. Give him Chris Curtis, maybe Roman Kopylov, Chris Curtis. I feel like that would be a banger. Or maybe somebody just on maybe RoboCop and Roman Kopylov. Who's the real cop?
Yeah, who is the real cop? Who's the real?
Speaking of cops, APPD is they made a turn. Never mind. They were coming this way again.
Oh wow! Hopefully everything's all right down there, man.
I don't know. I just never know in the city. But yeah, good win for Roman Kopylov. Now this is the big part of the card. This is where everything was going to turn. We were going to win money. We were going to be billionaires on a yacht. We're not. It didn't happen. We did get we got a little push.
Yeah, I'll take honestly what happened. Listen, Lacerda is a fucking moron, and he that guy stinks. All right, so I hope he gets cut off this, but he did not get finished.
We need one more. One more. I will be there no matter what.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep. I mean, Edgar Chairez though. I don't understand what they're doing to Mr. Lacerda because every time he fights somebody, they look like prime Nick Diaz, and they are just bringing the fight to Daniel Lacerda no matter what. And I don't understand what is it Tognoni was the guy here. I don't get why he's stopping that fight, why he's in a rush to get in there and get that over with. I don't get why Daniel Lacerda is not doing anything. I get he's trying to relax or whatever, but his hands keep dropping over and over again, so it didn't make it I understand why Tognoni did it, but I also don't understand why he did it. So, again, he's trying to stop Lacerda from going out and probably his lifeless body hitting the floor. But
that would have been good.
I don't know, man. It's just another, this is just another silly bullshit thing. And if I had Edgar Chairez's decision submission, I would be so pissed that this happened. Unbelievably pissed. I don't. Yeah. Can you understand this? I know you said I wasn't able to listen to the commentary. I was watching it out, so I just Dominic Cruz going in like that
was he wasn't happy. He said, "This is fuck." What did he say? Can't remember exactly, but basically said this is why referees need to either grapple or learn grappling, which I actually agree with. And him and DC just kept saying the same thing, he's got to stop doing that, man. He's done that multiple times. I'm like, all right, he has. I love shitting on Chris Tognoni, but when multiple commentators are shitting on him, and it's it kind of gets a little awkward.
Let's relax.
Let's Dominic Cruz will never pass up an opportunity. For that, I respect him. I kind of like that. And he's like, and honestly, he called it because Tognoni almost stepped in, right, and then he stepped away, kind of to make sure he was still in, and I think Dominic Cruz said, he better not step in here, and then 5 seconds later stepped in. He's like, yep. DC's like, you called it. You knew. You called it. And Cruz is like, yep, I know, because I'm a grappler, and he's not. I was like, okay, guys, let's take a step back here. And, Daniel Lacerda also, though, did not really do anything striking-wise at all.
No, he was getting chipped up a little bit. That's what I was like.
So it's a step back for the Lacerda hype train, and
where this train is has not even Not like it's inoperable. It's still in the station. It's in the repair shop right now, dude.
It left the station, but shortly after it had some issues with the brakes, the gas, everything. So we're closed up for shop for a little bit, but I will be there no matter what. Daniel Lacerda, he's got to get another fight after this, right?
I mean, I don't know. He cannot
join OSP on the unemployed list. He cannot do it.
I mean, if the people who are making the decisions watch this fight with their eyes, they're going to say, "Oh man, this guy was going to get cooked again."
And he said they should run that fight back. I was like, maybe somebody easier. How about that? Somebody worse at 125.
Get him
I don't
Tim
know who the worst
Elliott.
flyweight is.
Wait, nah, that's not a good idea.
That'd be tough. That would be pretty tough. I'm trying to find who the worst 125er is. There's definitely somebody that
in
we
the
just
UFC
saw fight recently. Yeah.
Maybe we got to get him somebody from outside the UFC so that he can just dominate them.
No, we should get Zhalgas Zhumagulov. He should be able to win that one, right?
He might lose that. He might lose that.
What about? Oh no, I got one for him. Shannon Ross.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, if he loses
Dennis
to Shannon
Bondar,
Ross, that should be a retirement fight for both guys. Like a career match, career versus career.
And or Juan Camilo Ronderos. I think that would be a good win for him. I think he could beat that guy.
Still a thing, but
yeah.
How about Tracy Cortez? She very impressive.
I mean, the fight was sexy.
Very impressive on Saturday night. Just kind of, I guess, outworked Jasmine Jasudavicius. What were the stats here for this fight? It
2 of 10
like
takedowns.
2 of 10. So yeah, I mean,
and she only had 3 minutes total of control, and she got outstruck 103 to 77 percentage wise, 48% to 37%. And I think the third round is where Tracy really won this fight. She won the first, and I think the second is when she only got taken down in the second. And I thought, man, Jasmine's just doing her fucking, she's bigger, stronger. She's going to wear on her. I thought, once the third round started, that Tracy might have been cooked, but she was not, man. She fucking gritted it out, stuffed all the takedowns in the third, and just outstruck her. I mean, Jasmine Jasudavicius is sometimes a punching bag. She doesn't really move her head, like, at all. She kind of just hulks forward like a crackhead, but she's tough, man. She's big, strong, has a little bit of a wrestling path, but she's just not very technical. And I think she's also not young. I think she's like 33 or something like that. Tracy Cortez is like, I think still in her 20s. So yeah, I mean, not the best look in the world for Jasmine coming off that fight against Miranda Maverick, but I think this might just be who she is, right? Like, not a gatekeeper, but kind of. If you can beat her, then you can kind of break into that top 10, top 15. And Tracy Cortez is right there, man. I think she could definitely get a top 10 fight now after this. She cried after the fight, broke down. I think she's been through a lot lately.
Yeah.
So to really, gut out a tough fight against a tough opponent who's not going to go away, big win for her. Would you say this is the biggest win of her career? Yeah, I mean, she hasn't lost in the UFC, which I can't believe. She kind of hasn't had a easy road. I mean, Maria Agapova in the Contender Series, that's a pretty tough fight. She took her down a couple times. Vanessa Mello, okay, easy fight. Stephanie Egger, a judo practitioner, kind of a tough fight. Justine Kish, easy one for her, even though it was a split. Melissa Gatto, that was a tough one because Melissa Gatto had a lot of hype, but yeah, all of her wins have come by decision. So maybe she's wants to get that finish to really break through and get her name on there. But yeah, man, she looked good, and she's, I think, still improving, still looks good, obviously, and we'll see what's next for her.
This is Tracy Cortez, who has a win over fucking Erin Blanchfield, man, and all the injuries that she talked about she had in the last calendar year. It was like she has had a rough year, so it's good for her to get a win. I was happy for her. And how about this? This was a tough moment of the. Not really. I mean, not for us. We had this. This is the first bet of the night for us. But,
I felt bad,
but I felt bad on a human level for Alex Reyes. I mean, he got beat up pretty bad here, and he got dropped more than once, and it seemed like it was getting worse and worse. Who was the judge or Mark Smith? Yeah, Mark Smith. Mark Smith's gonna wait till the last moment to step in when he gets the chance. He was Alex Reyes should not be in the UFC. It's just Well, it's all I'll say. It's you made it back, man. You came back. It didn't go your way. Now let's just walk into the sunset. And
maybe limp into the sunset. Yeah. Nothing else really to say. I mean, he came back from a fucking, he had a spinal infection due to a shot that had E. coli in it. What kind of shot was it? Whatever it was, some kind of injection. But yeah, and he couldn't walk. So the fact that he's, he looked good physically, like good shape, but I mean, whatever skills he did have, which I don't even know what they were, they have definitely eroded in the 6 years it's been since he fought. 6 years to the day.
6 years to the day, man.
And then Charlie Campbell, pulling off a nice little stunt on DC after the fight. That was great. So I'm all in on Charlie Campbell. Chuck Campbell better than Chuck Buffalo.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's it's an easy win-win for us. No, but his hands did look good, and I mean, he kind of showed he's a fun, exciting guy. He throws heat. He throws that uppercut, likes that uppercut, but
loves the uppercut, man.
But hey, man, it lands, and he was landing pretty easily here. But I would expect nothing less. If he didn't win this bet for us, and this fight got extended, I would have been very mad at Mr. Campbell. But he's going to be a tough out for people. I think it's kind of be a good guy to bet for or against because it's kind of kill or be killed. And we'll know right away. We'll know on the matchup. So,
another hammer.
How about Josephine Knudsen taking out your girl, the sawed-off savage? Mardik, man, should not be in the UFC. We kind of thought so beforehand. We just didn't know enough about Knudsen, and I wish we would have gone in. I mean, probably a fight that could have. We just didn't know if she was going to win by decision or submission or TK. We didn't know, so I guess that's probably why we didn't bet this. We kind of had a feeling that Knudsen would take care of business, but I guess not to this level.
Yeah. She fucking smoked her, man. She steamrolled her. That was just bad. I mean, there was a lot of clinching, which I didn't like, so that's why I thought maybe the 10-8s were a little unjustified, but I mean, this chick she quite literally did nothing this fight, Mardik, man. She got fucking steamroll Matt Frivola'd. Like,
Shout
bad.
out.
4 minutes of control in the first for Knudsen, 3 minutes in the second, and 4 minutes in the third. Just, I mean, an absolute savage ass beating. Brian Miner, 30-27. He wasn't having any of the 10-8 nonsense, which is
should have did the main event.
Yeah.
Should have did the main event. We would have got an honest scorecard then.
Mike Bell, it was rumored that he was going to start giving out 10-6s in this fight, but
Mark, somebody went over and scribbled on his card.
They turned the 6 to an 8. I guess Mark McMahon should probably rethink this whole fighting sport, job, lifestyle. She is, though. I will say this. She can hang her head on something. She's the number 1 ranked, active Montana pound-for-pound woman. So, there you go.
She probably would be perfect if there was a 105-pound division. And she could drop down.
And even then she'd probably get smoked. So
yeah, it just seemed like not UFC level, but you'll see that on the first fight of the night sometimes. So I can't get all that upset. They had a lot of people drop out of this card.
Dude, so many. Lucindo and Knudsen would have been a banger. Lucindo and Elise Reed. She would have smoked Elise Reed. Elise Reed really just, she knew she knew what was going to happen to her this card. Roman Kopylov and Fluffy would have been an absolute banger.
Yep.
D-Rod and Pons, I guess that would have been good. Cynthia Callinan, Shavkat and Gaslam, nasty. Chris Curtis and Fluffy even. Loopy and Sam Hughes even would have been better. But listen, we salvaged what we could of this card. It was in Vegas, not Mexico City also. So that was Noche UFC.
There was no fight of the night. Only 5 performance of the night. Rosas Jr. gets $50,000 for getting his first TKO. Zell Huber with the sneaky anaconda choke gets $50,000. Loopy with her smashing of Elise Reed gets $50,000. Roman Kopylov with his TKO of Josh Fremd. And Charlie Campbell after he eliminated Alex Reyes from the UFC. So hopefully, for his sake, not nothing personal. But there was a little boxing this weekend. I got the chance to catch a little bit of it. But what else do we need to know about what happened this weekend?
Did you watch the Joette Gonzalez-Luis Alberto Lopez fight on ESPN?
A little bit.
That was really good.
I didn't watch the whole fight, but I was, a couple rounds
dude,
here and there.
Did you notice the guy Lopez, how he fights, like his style? It's fucking annoying. I don't like it, but he he just lunges, he just leaps in with uppercuts. It's hard to explain his awkward
He fights like
style.
a movie boxer.
Yeah, but it works. I mean, he hits fucking hard. He's a fucking dog, and I mean that style must just be like impossible to figure out, especially over a 12-round fight. I mean, Michael Conlon that poor guy got fucking sent to the Shadow Realm in the 5th. Josh Warrington couldn't even figure it out. Josh Warrington is a very awkward guy himself to figure out. Joet Gonzalez actually in the middle to late rounds in the championship round started to turn up and made this a closer fight, even though the judges weren't having any of that. I think, I honestly think it was like 8-4, 7-5 for Lopez, but what we need to see next is going to be an absolute must, and it would be a banger. Luis Alberto Lopez and Robesi Ramirez at 126. Please make that fight next. I think they're both with Top Rank. That would be an absolute fucking banger. I promise you that would be a Fight of the Year candidate. In the co-main, Xander Zayas. Is he Puerto Rican or Cuban? I think he's Puerto Rican. Yeah, he's 21 and he's good, man. He's 17-0. I think he has most knockouts. He dusted this guy off, Roberto Valenzuela, who I don't even know if I'm trying to remember correctly. Oh, he's lost. He fought Mirza Taliev. Yeah, pretty decent fighter, and he smoked him, man. In the 5th, I think he had a really bad cut on his nose. He looked good. Fernando Vargas' son, Emiliano, who now I feel ancient. He's only 19, El General. He looked good. He got a win. He's like 7-8-0. I think there's another Vargas too. There's so many Vargases. I mean, Fernando has like 10 kids himself, but Emiliano looked really good. I didn't really get to watch the Fierro fight. Angel Fierro, I think his name is, right? Yeah, Angel Fierro. Okay, so he beat Zamalipa by split decision. Sky Nicholson, my girl anyway. I don't know if you really know about her. She is a 126 boxer, super good follow on Instagram. She won a belt, and then right after the fight, the girl she beats trainer died. So that was
Jesus.
That was fucking crazy. Just another night on the DAZN Matchroom, card. Just random shit happens. They don't even know what they're doing at DAZN anymore. I forget what the other fight card was, but it wasn't anything crazy. So yeah, nothing too big in the boxing world. I'm trying to see if there's a big boxing fight this weekend. There is Zhilei Zhang and Joe Joyce. That's going to be a banger. It's in Wembley this Saturday. And then, of course, we have next Saturday, Canelo and Charlo. That's going to be really good, man. I'm really anxious to see how Jermell fights against Canelo. He's moving way up, but man, we're starting to turn it up. We got Lee Wood and Josh Warrington in October. Gilberto Ramirez, Joe Smith. Tim Zoo's getting back in there in October. Jack Catterall's getting back in there in October. Tyson Fury and Ngannou. I mean, that's
who cares?
Who knows what's going to happen in that fight?
Logan Paul and Dylan Dennis.
That's in October. Yeah, I mean, Tommy Fury and KSI is also next October. Listen, these you may laugh, but at least it's something, right? It's going to be a spectacle. I mean, I would love nothing more than to sit on my couch and pay money to watch Dylan Dennis get absolutely flatlined. I would. I'm not going to pay money, but I'm still I will be there no matter what. Is what I'll say.
Yeah, I'll be tuning in, man. Really rooting for it too.
I'm really rooting for.
I don't know,
Mike.
I just want one of those guys to go to sleep. Honestly, but I know that's going to be a snoozer, big time snoozer.
Yeah, I think what we need is Dylan Dennis to keep getting sued by people, right? Pull out of the fight and get Mike Perry in there against Logan Paul. Mike Perry would just do some bad things to him, but I will be there no matter what.
That will be awesome when that happens, and it's only inevitable. I mean, we're running out of time, but Dylan Dennis is pulling out of this fight. So, Contender Series. I know you said you didn't really have any picks. Do you have any thoughts on any of these guys that are, and gals that are going to be fighting tonight? It seems like this Gaziev gentleman is going to wipe the floor with Padres right-hander Greg Velasco. So I don't. I don't know. I looked at the odds. I mean, he's what, a minus 700 or 715 on Bet Rivers.
He's a big
650.
favorite.
Yeah, it's doesn't seem like there's much to bet here. I saw the first fight was. I mean,
this looks good.
This 20-year, it's a 125-pound fight between a Brazilian gentleman and I believe this is is this an Italian gentleman? He's fighting out of Rome, Italy, but he's from Brazil. Okay.
Yeah, and he's training with Nova at Nova União, is where Janata Silva is training. I believe is that Moreno and all them, or no? What is Nova União? It's
isn't that where
Henan Barral, Jose Aldo, all of them, yeah. Johnny Eduardo, yeah. So he's at Nova União, and the other fella is at Shoots a Box.
Yeah.
So my hunch in this fight is maybe just lean with the underdog. I mean, it's a very I don't know. I would pick the under probably. The 20-year-old is the favorite. Remember, he's only 20. He's also bigger. So I don't know. Shoot the Box against Nova União. That's gonna be a banger. It seems like the first fight. It seems like they have the order flipped here. But again, I don't know what I'm really talking about in this fight on this card. Dylan Mantello. Let's see what he's. There's a couple lightweight fights. Lightweight fights are always good. The Quiet Man. He went to LSU. Shout out, go Tigers, baby. He trains with Longo Weidman MMA. So I kind of he fought Archie Colgan, Eagle FC, who's very good. Lost, but a good guy to fight. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't think this is gonna be the best week ever, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't really have any picks either on this or bets. I don't know anything about that first fight though. Seems like that. I mean, the guy's 20 years old. That's in that fight, and the other guy is, I believe, 26. I might bet that gentleman, man. He's plus 140, 150. I might, check to.
We will reconvene in the Contender Series lab that we have that still needs to be built. And we will cook something up tonight. That's for sure. Next week also. Twitter picks. Hey, follow along because it starts at 8. So
yeah,
we'll definitely have something. But Shavkat Rakhmonov, his sister, next week fights on the Contender Series. Look out for Sora Rakhmonova. So I guess they have different last names. I'm not sure how that works, but yeah, check it out next week. Next week's card looks like it's going to be a banger. Angel Pacheco, I've heard of him. Alexander Soldotkin, that guy's scary. And I
don't even like that name.
Yeah, he's a pretty terrifying fella. He might be on all the sauce too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I try not to ask too many questions about these people's names too. I don't want to upset anyone or ruffle any feathers. So
there was also a draw in the KSW main event that happened on Friday. So UFC wasn't the only main event with a draw. Yeah,
and we will have another episode, I believe, this week. Is there a show? There is a UFC this week, right? It's
Fiziev and Gamrot.
And I am not all that excited about that main event specific, or no, I'm saying not the card specifically, but that main event is a very good fight. Bryce Mitchell and Dan Ige is a very good fight. There's a couple of fights on here that are interesting, but
a couple, not too many. Also, LFA has an event. Donald Bush, I believe he's the brother of Dakota Bush. He will be fighting on this card. His nickname is Dirt Red. So that's fun.
On what card?
LFA 168. Reese McKee's brother, Mitchell McKee, is the main event.
Wow, Cody Brundage is getting back in there.
They're not brothers at all, but they look like each other. Yeah, Cody Brundage, another loss, I think.
For sure.
Have to bet against him.
Malcoon's going to beat his ass.
Should. Man, I don't like betting on him. Bellator 299. Fabian Edwards, Johnny Eblin. That's Saturday morning. Okay. Oh, they're in Dublin. And there's not really any Irish fighters. There's Sinead Kavanaugh, who
Sinead K.O. Kavanaugh.
Yeah, okay. Aaron Pico, Pedro Carvalho, Mads Burnell, Daniel Weichel. Anything else on this card? This card looks pretty poopy.
Hannah Goldie's getting back in there on the UFC card.
Yeah,
oh man,
this Bellator 299 card has 21 fights. Yeah, 21. Somebody was bored making fights in this. For this event, I think there's a Risen card, a little bit of Risen Rising. I know you're going to be tuned in for that.
Never watched that.
Spike Carlisle is on the card against Yoshinori Hori, the guy who got famously head kicked by Hakeem Dawodu.
Spike Carlisle is going to have one crazy ass career when it's all said and done.
I can't wait for him to write his autobiography. I can't wait if he can write. That is.
I can't wait to bet this card though. Now that I've looked at this UFC card, I can't
Anthony
wait.
Rendon is starting this card out. Anthony Rendon is fighting. She looks jacked and kind of hot and kind of scary.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a full card of bets next weekend. Hot, jacked, and scary, you could say, is our card. So, that is that. My name is Matt McSweeney. That has been the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. That man's name is
I'm Todd Capone. And of course, as always, prayers up to Nicholas Chubb.